Today is Wednesday, October 23rd, and you know what that means. The Orlando Magic are going to be tipping off their season opener in Miami tonight in just a couple of hours, and I am so excited after a long-awaited offseason to finally get back to Magic basketball. It's really here, and of course to be covering this team for a second consecutive year in a row. Truly honored to be having this position that I'm in, and of course being able to provide content to you guys as much as possible. Magic fans, before we actually go ahead and get into today's video talking about my award predictions for the team this upcoming season, I won't be too long-winded with this video. If you guys appreciate all of the work and content that we do here on YouTube, make sure you guys go ahead and drop me a thumbs up, hit the subscribe bell to stay tuned for more Magic content that we do here on YouTube, and of course make sure you guys go ahead and follow me, Brett James, and Orlando Magic HQ on all of our socials. That way you guys can stay up to date on all of the latest Magic news and updates. And last thing, Magic fans, if you guys have not seen Orlando Magic HQ, we dropped our Patreon last week in order to create more exclusive content for you guys, from articles, podcasts, and videos. It's the best way to help support the channel and what we're doing here and all of the work that we do. So if you guys want to go ahead and support us, I will go ahead and put a link down below to the Patreon so you guys can check that out. But Magic fans, let's actually go ahead and talk about today's award predictions for this upcoming season. Let's get into the most obvious award predictions, and let's start with MVP. Won't be too long-winded with this. Of course, it's going to be third-year forward Paolo Banchero, the centerpiece and the face of this franchise, a guy who went from being the #1 overall pick and nearly a unanimous Rookie of the Year in his first season in the league, went to then making an all-star leap in his second season. Now he's poised for an all-NBA leap going into year 3. Take a look at what Paolo did last season for the Orlando Magic. He averaged 22, 7, and 5, and in the postseason, he turned into playoff P. Not way off P, playoff P, and had a historic start to the postseason. So, through the first 7 games of the postseason, like I said, Paolo was nothing short of sensational. He became the second youngest player, 21 years and 165 days, in NBA history to begin his playoff career with 3 consecutive 20-plus point games. Banchero continued to add to that in the record books by becoming one of the youngest players in NBA playoff history to record multiple 30-plus point games, and that list features Anthony Edwards and LeBron James, and of course, Paolo Banchero. He is poised for a big-time season. I'm extremely excited to see how he's going to lead this Magic team night in and night out. Now that the Magic have their expectations set significantly higher than they were last year, and I expect a big year 3 from Paolo Banchero. Now getting into my coach of the year, of course I'm going to go with head coach Jamahl Mosley. And one thing I'll give Coach Mosley is the fact that he consistently praises his coaching staff because they do a phenomenal job working with the talent and of course developing their players day in and day out. And when you take a look at Jamahl Mosley, he has done nothing but exceed expectations, going from 22 wins to 34 wins to 47 wins, now going to be looking to make this team a 50-plus win team. And I think Jamahl Mosley and this group is more than capable of accomplishing that feat. I'm extremely excited to see what Coach Mosley is going to draw up this year, especially with some of the new additions. KCP obviously retaining a lot of our players, and of course making sure to draft Tristan da Silva in the draft. We'll see how he pans out in his rookie season. I think Jamahl Mosley is poised for an incredible 4th year, and he's going to be right there in the Coach of the Year conversation like we saw last year, where he finished second in voting just behind Oklahoma City's Mark Daigneault. Now getting into Rookie of the Year, let's go ahead and talk about Tristan da Silva very briefly. He's the only rookie on roster, but the Magic had very high expectations about him going into the draft, and of course, they were able to land him with the 18th overall pick in this year's draft. I think Tristan da Silva is going to be an incredible forward and a very versatile player for the Magic, not just this season if he gets an opportunity to showcase his talents, more so for the future of this team moving forward. Tristan is a guy who is extremely well-rounded, spent 4 years playing collegiate basketball at the University of Colorado, comes in with a skill set that's very refined, and of course, is a plug-and-play player at the 4, at the 3, can stretch the floor, play within the flow of the offense, and is an exceptionally high IQ player, and that's what you want to see, especially from young players that come in with a ton of experience. And in the Summer League, Tristan da Silva looked incredible, and he looked like a guy who was ready to already come in and make an impact day one. He played in nearly 27 minutes in those 3 Summer League games, averaged 17 points, shot 58% from behind the arc, and 60% from the floor. Tristan da Silva looked like the next coming of Michael Jordan, for crying out loud. He is going to be a great player for years moving forward. He's a great guy to talk to, and I'm extremely excited to see how he's going to look this year, not just with the Magic, but I'm sure he may have an opportunity to really get a lot of playing experience with Osceola this upcoming season. Now getting into 6th man of the year, this is going to be an interesting one. I have a lot of different options to choose from, but I'm going to take second-year guard Anthony Black, who I think is going to emerge as an extremely impactful player for the Magic this upcoming season. I think he's poised for a sophomore surge after appearing in 69 games, 33 starts for this team, and as a rookie at 19 years old who got thrusted into the starting lineup after Markelle Fultz had gone down in early November with that knee inflammation, Anthony Black looked like the point guard of the future for this Orlando Magic team in a small sample size, but the team obviously played exceptionally well, and he was the starting point guard on a team that won 9 consecutive games in a row, tying the franchise record. Take a look at Anthony Black. This is a guy who is a very capable 3-and-D guard. He's a rising star on this team, a very reliable perimeter defender, extremely pesky. He's going to be playing a lot more with the ball in his hands this year, so you're going to have to continue to see him elevate his game in terms of his ability to facilitate, run the offense, and to continue to remain calm and poised in those moments. I think Anthony Black is extremely capable of that, and he's going to be my 6th man of the year for this Orlando Magic squad. Now getting into most improved player, I think I have to take the obvious choice and a guy who I expect to get minutes not only day one, but for the entirety of the season. Give me second-year guard Jett Howard. Both of our lottery picks from the 2023 NBA draft, and Anthony Black and Jett Howard, are going to be making big impacts on this team. And what I saw from Jett Howard in the Summer League is a guy who is going to help space the floor and a guy who's going to provide that offensive spark off the bench for this Orlando Magic team, because it goes without being said, the Magic were not a good three-point shooting team last season. 26th in the association, 34.6% from behind the arc. That's not going to cut it, especially in the postseason. Now you've got a guy in Jett Howard who's obviously more than capable of spacing the floor, being a threat on the perimeter, even when the shots don't go down, because he was able to get that skill set and really get that experience in Osceola last year. He looked incredible in the Summer League, just like Tristan da Silva did. Let's actually talk about what Jett Howard did in the Summer League. Jett Howard appeared in 3 Summer League games this year, averaged 19 points, 3.3 assists, and shot a blistering 47.6% from behind the arc. He is the Magic's secret weapon. He's an X factor on this team. And I actually did a full in-depth video talking about the Magic having 2 rising stars that nobody outside of Orlando is talking about in Jett Howard and Anthony Black. If you guys want to go ahead and see that video, I will go ahead and link to it up above. Now getting into the final award for Defensive Player of the Year, I've got a lot of great options to choose from, as the Magic are an extremely capable defensive team. I've got guys like Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Jalen Suggs, and Jonathan Isaac, the first 3 names that come to mind. But I'm going to take the Minister of Defense to win Defensive Player of the Year for this team this upcoming season. Jonathan Isaac not only bulked up from 219 to 250 pounds this offseason, this was the first full offseason with no rehabilitation. He's going to be playing a lot more physical. He put on the weight, and it's now going to help him play more 5 potentially this year, where we saw in moments and stretches last year where he played the 5 a lot, and at times it didn't look too good, and at times it looked phenomenal. It's an adjustment period. And speaking of last season, we saw just how impactful and important Jonathan Isaac was for this team. He appeared in 58 games last year, which was the most amount of games J.I. has appeared in since the 2018-19 season. And of course, he was rewarded with that contract extension, which was well-deserved. Let's just talk about the impact that Jonathan Isaac had on the Magic last year when he was on the court versus when he was off. When Jonathan Isaac was on the court, the Magic had a defensive rating of 111.8 last season. When Jonathan Isaac was off the court, they had a defensive rating of 113.2. Then let's take about individual defensive rating. Out of all qualified NBA players last year that at least played in 58 games, Jonathan Isaac finished second in the NBA, only behind now 4-time Defensive Player of the Year, Rudy Gobert, in individual defensive rating with a 104.5 defensive rating. Jonathan Isaac is one of the most impactful and versatile defenders in the game of basketball. He's a Swiss Army knife, and he helps elevate this Magic team to a completely different standard and roster. You're going to need a defensive forward with his versatility when you go up and you play the Philadelphia 76ers, when you play the Knicks, when you play the Bucks, and especially when you play the Boston Celtics. The Magic are building a recipe for success defensively, and I expect a big season from Jonathan Isaac as long as he can continue to stay healthy. But Magic fans, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below about your award predictions for the team this upcoming season. Of course, I'm just sticking within the Magic community about who I'm picking to win our awards for the team this upcoming season. Magic fans, like I said, if you guys appreciate all of the work and content that we do here on YouTube, make sure you guys go ahead and drop me a thumbs up, hit the subscribe bell to stay tuned for more Magic content that we do here on YouTube, and make sure you guys go ahead and follow me on my socials, Brett James and Orlando Magic HQ. The link tree will be in the description down below so you guys can check that out. And of course, our Patreon will be in the description down below. Thank you guys again for sticking around throughout the whole video. Hopefully we play an incredible game tonight over the Miami Heat and we can start the year off 1-0. Thank you guys for watching, and like always, let's go Magic.